All right. Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Got some plays to go over, some setups that were really the highlight of this week. We'll go over those and then talk about what to expect next week. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for June 11th, 2021. Q's up 0.18 and Q's up 0.26. That was the SPY we were just looking at, up 0.18. IWM up 1%. So the strongest of the three for today. We've seen a lot of rotation lately, a lot of just slight movements on the intraday. I think you can see on this the SPY here on the daily. It's just an inside bar. Q's narrow bar. So the IWM today, which was the weakest yesterday, kind of catching up a little bit here. Nothing different. If you've watched the previous market wraps, bullish on the market, kind of a low momentum right now on the Qs and SPYs. So, so I think probably, deep pullbacks into support, probably the thing to do if you trade the market. But today's price action, as you might expect, because of kind of how muted these moves are not going to change anything. Monday, still bullish. Okay. All right, let's get into today's plays, and we'll kind of compare it to some other plays from this week. So this was the PROG that I played today. Gave you the numbers on this. It was 301 by 287. Okay, I'll show you what the setup was. So here was the daily, and this is what I want to highlight. This is what I saw a lot of this week. So we're getting this really beaten up stock here, really beaten up, and then quickly transitions. Now there's a lot of these that you're not going to catch, or that don't necessarily give you an indication. Maybe news comes out and they just shoot up, and then that's the move. What I'm noticing is that for some of these that we are able to catch, okay, something bearish happens and then the bearish event doesn't follow through. So for instance, okay, you can see this tried to move up and then you had a gap down. So that means anyone who bought it inside of this red bar, right, above where it opened the next day and held it into the next day, is immediately underwater, right? This is what we call shock value, okay? So anyone that is trapped should want to sell, but they don't, okay? And so what is a bearish event doesn't end up acting bearishly, okay? So that was part of the play for today, is that, okay, we got a little bit of a gap up. Yesterday should have gotten sold. It didn't. That's telling me there's probably no more sellers left, okay? And that whoever's in it long is not willing to sell. So what does that do? That helps give us more demand. Okay, so the play this morning was a buy setup off of the rising 20 MA here. Okay, so here it is. You can see it's 301 by 287, so just underneath that bar there. Target was 330. That was coming from the daily here. We got there pretty fast, but it did pull back in hard, so it wasn't easy to trail on this 330. So it ended up being a lot like the ANY that we talked about yesterday, that the management wasn't easy. So we did get half out. We lived through all of this chop and sideways stuff, and waited and waited. Didn't look good there either. I was on the mic, and then finally we got break to the new highs. I said go ahead and trail some. Okay, so we were able to get some out there. I think 329 on this next portion here, so that wasn't too bad. On that. That wasn't too bad. 329 there. Okay, yeah, right under there. I think we were able to actually get some out at 336 as well. I'm looking at the fills. So we lived through that, and then the hourly ended up trailing break even. Okay, so a lot like the ANY actually. ANY, we talked about this yesterday. Sloppy, had to wait, for the big move, and then trailed more or less break even there. So a little bit tough, it would have been nice to get all of it out at the top, but then, I wanted to make sure that if we had more follow through on the prog, that we were in it for the move. And so ended up recovering a little bit here at the end of the day. I was looking at it. I didn't really see a good way to get back in, so I didn't get back in, but overall it was okay. Okay play there on the PROG. So, you know, this thing where you're seeing kind of these really, really beaten up ones bottom after some kind of bearish event fails is what we had on the Wish as well. Okay. See how the Wish, this breakdown here, this breakdown should have followed through because it's pretty bearish. It's breaking support just like it did here. Gap down, broke support, but it's run out of sellers. Okay. Or it could be a combination. It probably most likely is. Also, people are looking at some of these beat up names as potential momentum plays back up to the upside, reversals, value, whatever, right? So you can see what the Wish move that it had, right? Doubled in like the course of a couple days. Also, the gray, okay? So the gray had this bearish sell setup right here, right? So it produced a lower high, tried to go lower, and then held. And so once these start to fail on the bearish event, right, then the next move up higher. So seeing it on a lot of these smaller names, lower price names, the ones that have just gotten really, really beaten up. Okay, so that was the idea behind the progress. Just something that we'd seen throughout the week. Okay, all right. That's gonna do it for today. We'll be back at it next week. Maybe something shakes up the market, the environment that we're in. But I mean, either way, it's fine. You know, we're aware of what's going on. I know the gaps list. A lot of quality, or a lot of quantity, not a lot of quality some days. But you know, I think patience and waiting for the plays to set up, and just continuing to be a student of the market, because you know these kind of setups are not the thing that I would be looking out for, or I wasn't even looking out for them last week. It's just something that started to notice more, pick up on, and looking to take advantage of. Okay, so I mean, there's still the same strategy. It's still a pro gap. It's still just a 2-minute buy setup, but it's the what we want to highlight or give more weight to end up being the play, right, is just changed a little bit. So that's all. They're just transitioning a lot faster on the daily than they used to. So you almost like can't wait for them to really get this 20 MA to actually start curling up underneath while it's basing, something like that. Maybe the ESGC does that. This is like the more typical way we would play these like transitions, right? And then now over this, which you can watch for Monday. But this week they all went fast. Okay. All right. Hope you have a good weekend. We'll be back at it on Monday, and I will talk to you then. Have a good weekend.